I think we have red lights. I think we're all ready to go. Good morning or good afternoon, should I say. Sarah, how are you today?
Hi, I am doing fabulous. Thank you, Janice.
You're most welcome, darling. Now, Sarah, you live in what part of the world?
I am actually in San Diego, California right now.
Right, well, that would explain why I couldn't find your timeline, because I'm looking up California when I should have been looking up San Diego.
That is in California.
I
San
know,
Diego, California.
but this wouldn't bring up, the little world map on here wouldn't bring up California, so I thought, oh, okay. Quite amazing. Anyway, let's move on. We've got you.
We didn't fall off the earth yet. California is still attached.
Done deal, sunshine. Would you like to just share with us just a little bit of a snippet of the whole world in which you're now enjoying, if that's the right words I could use, and share a little bit of how you've used personal development, what personal development has been for you on this journey to get you to where you are right here, right now. In your hands, Sarah.
Sure, thank you. Yeah, I am a mom of 7 kids, and I have worked all my life. I went to college for 2 years, studied computer science, but I lived in a really, really small town that didn't have any jobs for computer science. So I worked as a nurse's aide. I worked as a Spanish interpreter. I was working in hotels. I did everything that I could to make sure that we had just enough to pay the bills. And that's all that one person can do. Correct. to make a living. And I always thought, wow, I see people online making money. I mean, I always had been connected with Tony Robbins, Eric Worre. I've always been a big researcher on how to work from home, but I just never actually went through with it. It was seemed like
plunge. You never took the plunge. Is that what you're saying?
Right, I didn't, because I was one of those people that I would ask others around me if they thought something was good. So then, like, verify me kind of thing, confirm my ideas. And if they didn't like it, then I didn't do it. It was a really silly thing.
You didn't make your own mind up. Other people made their mind up for you.
Right. It was one of those things that, you know, a lot of people don't have enough self-confidence to make the choices to better their lives. And it's true that you will be the average of the 5 people that you hang around most with. And I had nobody else that had the same desires, the same ideas, the same goals, the same dreams as me. I was the weird one in the group that I hung out with.
So you said 4 years ago you came to the internet?
Right. So then I had a moment in my life which made me make that decision. Right. Because only I lived the life that I live. And my husband, who I'd been married to for 18 years, had been deported to Mexico.
Oh.
So that was a shock, you know?
Yeah.
And sometimes us people who don't make decisions really fast are put into that place to make a change. True. Whether you like it or not, here it comes. Let's go.
True.
So I knew I had now lost my husband to Mexico. What am I going to do? So I moved to Mexico, and there's no jobs for a mama with 7 kids in Mexico who I knew Spanish because I was an interpreter, but I wasn't a legal citizen in Mexico to work. So I needed to work online. And that's where I started my online journey. I said, here we go. What are we going to do? And I did all the research. Excellent. And I found a company that I kind of like, you know, I had a little tripod going on and it had a little piece missing. So it almost, I don't want you guys to drop off today. I just want to hold you in my little hands. Okay.
My head's still okay, darling. It's all good.
Good. And I'm a real person, you know. You'll find that out about me is I'm not a fluff person. I tell you like it is. The good, the bad, the ugly, the beautiful, the wonderful. All of it. It's the journey for freedom that I'm on. And I make sure that I give it to people straight, you know, because they want to see real people online. They don't want to see people that are acting like they're real. That's a big difference.
Yeah, and there's so many out there that don't necessarily stand in their true authenticity, make splurge a dig, the rah, 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 and then the real reality comes back and goes, whooppo. And, you know, I'm with you.
It catches up with you, too, because people will find out that if you say you're making, you know, 20,000 online and you're not, it'll come to surface, you know. So then you just ruined yourself for your whole life if you want to try to fake it until you make it. You know, that's not the way to go.
Yeah, no, I get it. From a point of finding out about the internet, 4 years ago, stepping into this place, from personal development perspectives, what inspired you the most around that?
Right. So personal development, you know, I had always wanted to go to those events, you know, that I've seen other people go to. I've always wanted to hear Tony Robbins for myself. But I got going with a company that in the beginning, it seemed like it was a closer step for me. So all these steps that you have in your life, they're for a reason, you know. I was in the medical background. So then I easily transitioned into a medical background MLM. But their techniques were ancient. And they were still doing telephone calls and all this kind of stuff. And I got a lot of team built up because I naturally was a good people person, but they weren't able to duplicate. And they were frustrated with the ways that we were doing the training. You know, because you do the training according to what your upline does. You just follow the system.
Correct.
And the system wasn't working. So I went back to my roots. I went back to Tony Robbins. I went back to Eric Worre. And I came across a better way. I came across a group of people who were getting together in mini events all over the world online. And it was called Millionaire Mentoring. And that's what really started to change things for me, because I was learning what the top MLM leaders were doing, and they were not showing us how to do it. They just kind of had everybody under them to try to keep them under them.
No, I'm with you. Darling, it's an industry all of its own, and I think it's a situation that finding the Millionaire Mentors really has been a huge lift, a shift. You know, you want to step up into a completely different area. Thank you for all that little snippet of your life and that interest in where your personal growth and everything has come from, because there's a question I'm going to ask you about who your favourite person was, so I think you've actually just answered it, but that's okay. I'll move on and say...
I have a favourite. It's not Tony Robbins, but believe it or not. Don't tell him that, but it's not.
Darling, with everything that has happened in your life, what was your biggest wake-up call that you looked towards personal development as a way to improve your life, and the mindset that was actually happening for you at that time?
Okay. I had listened to Jim Rohn actually talk about his story one time when I was in the car. And I had to do a lot of multitasking because of my kids. I would bring them all over San Diego, and I was, you know, driving them from here to there. And so I was taking advantage of the time I had in the car to listen to some Jim Rohn. And he talked about the day that he had his wake-up call. And it hit me big time. Hearing what someone else's wake-up call was hit me. Because he talked about how he had a little girl come up to him in his house, and she wanted him to buy some cookies or something like that. And he didn't even have $5 cash in his pocket to give her, and he had to turn the little girl away because he didn't have cash. And he felt horrible because he never wanted to be that guy that didn't have extra money for somebody when they wanted it, especially a little kid.
Correct.
And he said he made up his mind that no matter what, no more excuses. He was always going to have $100 cash in his pocket at all times in case somebody needed anything. And that hit me because I know what it's like to have to put groceries back. I know what it's like to tell my kids no or downgrade their presents on their birthday so that way, you know, we could do something, but not the thing. And I was tired of that. I was tired of settling. I was tired of downgrading my dreams because I hadn't upgraded my skills.
Yeah, it's a very interesting point. And I love what you've done because I think you just shifted me.
What? Really?
Look, I'm a very positive person, but at the same time, what you're saying there really resonates with me as well. Because, you know, we go through a part in life where the best thing that we could do is offer assistance to somebody else and just be that light at that point in time. I'm so grateful that you actually had that experience to be where you are today, to have come across and met you, even if it is virtual Zoom. But it's, you know, it's reality, yeah. It's reality.
It's my goal and my dream and my mission is to help people to get to the point where they're not going to settle. They're not going to live mediocre. They're not going to put that, you know, you don't hide your light under a bushel, right? You put your light on a hill so people can see it. And that's not a bad thing. A lot of women don't want to shine because they don't want to seem like they're bragging, but it's not it. Correct. We need to stand up so we can light the way for other people and say, let's go.
Beautiful.
Let's go.
Absolutely beautiful. You are, pardon me, you are your own shining light, darling, and you're an inspiration at the same time, so I love it. So I'll just move on and say, who out of the inspired you the most? Who was the one? You mentioned Tony Robbins, and you've mentioned, forgotten his name.
Jim Rohn.
Jim Rohn. I'm assuming that was a very big turning point for you. And from that point of what Jim Rohn inspired you with, that led you to take more action.
So you would like to know
like who that person was and what he actually said and did, and what was the extra action that you took for the next part of your journey.
Okay. Well, I actually started to not just listen to the audios and the free YouTube stuff that I could get my hands on, like Jim Rohn, you know. I would get my hands on anything I could for free. I would go to the library and get all the personal development books out, and then they would tell me, you need to return them. And I'm like, I don't want to return them. I love these books. And so I started to invest, and I started to build a library. And I'm one of those people that I need the books in my hands, and I'm going to go back to them and reread them. So I actually started buying more books. And, you know, Amazon is my friend, and I I buy a lot of books from Amazon. Yeah. And so I got into Brendan Burchard's books, and Brendan Burchard, woo, he has a way that he explains his stories like you know you can do it too. You know, I got the Millionaire Messenger book that I'm going through right now, and it talks about how his moment and his aha wake-up call was when he was actually in an accident and he was supposed to have died and he didn't. Correct. And so his whole life is centered around getting his message out. Correct. And so that is, you know, what I'm on to right now. How we need to get our message out, because every single person has a message.
Oh,
Everybody.
massively. I actually had the fortune of, through a friend, of seeing Brendan Burchard in Australia alive. And yeah, I often have moments of aha, oh yeah, you know, because he's had a impact on my life in a way that it's actually lifted and shifted. You know, so yeah, Brendan Burchard, he is a gem in his message and what he actually shares. And one hell of a guy, because he's up there and he's dancing and prancing, you know, I love it. His energy is just, incredible.
I have not seen him live yet. That is my next goal, because he's always in San Diego and I'm right here. So that's my next goal, is to see that man live and be in that environment.
Oh,
so
you'll
awesome.
love it. Absolutely love it. I mean, he's there to share his message as well as on sell his products. I get that. But just to be inspired by the whole transition of what actually occurs through the journey of the 2-3 days event. Yeah, I highly, highly recommend it, Sarah. Yeah, I would go again tomorrow.
What's that?
I would go again tomorrow.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
He was excellent.
You know, I wanted to say too that my most recent millionaire mentor, because there's a difference between a rep, a sponsor, a mentor, and a millionaire mentor, you know? Yeah. I totally understand this now. And actually, here's one of the things that people don't know, is that a lot of people shake their head no when they mean yes. Okay?
Very true.
I totally understand that now. And, you know, I have gotten to work one-on-one with Darren Little. And I work with him about 9 hours a week. And in the last few weeks, we've actually worked together one-on-one and one with a small group of 13 people. I would say about 20 hours last week alone. Okay. And that's a millionaire mentor, because a rep will just sign you up and then be lost into the witness protection program.
Correct.
A sponsor is a little bit more, because they'll plug you into a system, but they don't really know what they're doing themselves.
Yep, very true. Gotcha.
Best, you know. And a mentor is someone who knows some things, but they haven't gotten to the millionaire part yet, where they've had 26 years of experience backing up all their data and their results. And if you follow it step by step, you're going to get the results they get.
Yep.
So it's like a surefire thing.
I love your description. Love it.
Yes. So, you know, people are searching, and they're like everybody else, you know, like me. I started out a little bit shaky, a little bit unsure of myself. So what did I do? I went for the free methods. I went for the library borrowing. Then I started investing, because I'm like, I want more of this and I want it for me. And it became more of part of me. And I've done businesses, you know, and I know that if you don't get a millionaire mentor, you're not going to be able to succeed.
Well, your mindset doesn't change, because you don't get challenged in a way that they are thinking that is possible for you, because you need those neurons to shift from that point that they're plugged on to be over there. You know, so I get what you're saying. And the challenges that a millionaire mentor brings to you actually is inspirational for you to go, so if I do X, Y, and Z, I could get A, B, C.
That's right. That's right.
I love it.
And this is powerful. This whole thing right here that we're doing, the Zoom is energy transference.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
A chat, a video, a Zoom in live. That's why live events are better than phone calls or video recordings or anything like that. Live events have an energy transference. And if we are around 5 people that are broke, that don't know what they're doing, that just sign people up and then they're gone, and we're not going to get the same type of transference as being around a millionaire mentor as many hours as possible.
Very true, and a very, very valid point too. And I think for me, there's a transition for me shifting. I genuinely feel it, because as I've done each one of these videos, you're probably number 8. I've actually noticed shift and change. I'm interviewing a lady on Friday, and from memory, I'm pretty sure she's actually worked with Jim Rohn. So she will have a lot to share from that experience and energy, and a lovely lady at the same time too. Right, Sarah. Okay, I think we lost you, but let's get back into the situation. We were asking one more question. So when did you know that you recognized that you were actually on path and you felt with real deep emotion that your life was going to change? Could you really feel the difference and were inspired to want to do more?
Yes. So everybody, I believe, including me, they have levels of commitment, levels of coachability.
Yep.
And I thought I was coachable all the way through 4 years.
I'm not laughing. Go for it.
I was coachabler, but not coachablest, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, that's a new word, but we'll believe it.
I'm a homeschool mom, so I kind of add my own words. No, just kidding.
Good idea.
So, you know, I had thought that I was listening, really, really listening, really, really being coachable. But you can tell if someone's coachable is if they're making the money, right? By the bank account, you can tell if you're coachable. Because if A equals B, right, and B equals C, then A equals C. So if they're doing that and you're doing that, you should be getting what they're getting. Okay. True. And if you're not, you got to look at your data and you got to see, what am I not being coachable about? Because the problem isn't with what they're teaching. The problem is what we're doing or the way we're interpreting something.
Very true.
And so you have to really look inside and you have to be open and vulnerable and say, I don't know everything. Here's what I'm doing. What do I need to change? Because, you know, we're in this because we love it. We know this is a very fun thing to do. We love helping people. But the bottom line is every business in the world needs to be able to have enough finances to keep going. There's overhead. There's overhead. Yes.
And I think from the point of where you're coming from, the inspiration, you knew where you were on path because everything kept falling into place. It kept falling into place. There was something else that was happening. And you know in yourself, you feel that energy inside that you're really, really, well, okay, this must be right. I'll go another step. I'll just take another step. And can you're shaking your head yes, not a no. You're shaking your head yes. Share a little story there then, Sarah, that you could, you know, elaborate on that pathway that you knew you were there.
Yes. So it is something that you're drawn into. You can tell if it's the wrong way or if it's the right way. And so as you're coachable and as you're doing some things, you're growing. And you get that response inside of you that's like, yes, this feels good. But what am I missing? What am I not doing right? But you still know it's the way to go. So you have to keep walking forward. And too many people stop and say, oh, I am not good enough or something like that. And that's incorrect.
This doesn't work for me is the other one too.
Right. They're lucky. I'm not lucky. My life has too many problems and theirs is easy. Whatever you want to tell yourself is what's going to be true for you. So, and that's personal development. You have to stay in personal development every day or else you're going to be knocking yourself out of the game that you are very easy to win. So I was huge on the personal development. I was huge on, I'm worthy. I know I have value. I just have to tweak some stuff here and keep going. So there's the process of surrendering. You got to surrender a little bit more because personal, like our own human nature, we want to be knowing everything.
Mm.
I was one of those people that I hated starting a new job because I wanted to be the know-it-all.
Yeah, I get you. And there's a lot that out there that panic over that.
Yes. Our own pride and ego, we like to know stuff. And if we don't, we dismiss it. But that's wrong. If we don't know something, we need to go towards the one who does and say, give me what you know.
Well, that sounds quite, I'm hungry.
You've got to be hungry.
You've got to be hungry.
And I was hungry. I had all my reasons, my 7 kids.
Yeah.
I had my motivation being, what's the alternative? Is the alternative where they lose a father and a mother because I'm working 2 jobs overnight and I can't even raise my own kids?
Yeah.
No. I have never been that kind of person that said, I didn't go through having all those kids for nothing. I want to be with them while they're still here,
Well, that's enough pain in itself to want to succeed, isn't it?
It is.
And that's not a bad pain. Exactly.
A lot of people, they give up because they're too busy, their mothers and all that kind of thing, but that needs to be the actual motivation for why you keep going.
Exactly. And I think
your kids are going to be married and off in their own lives, and you're going to see them once or twice a year. So while they're little, go ahead and get into business and try to stay home with them and fund it by doing something online.
You're right and truly on path there from a point of the whole personal development process is about me, myself, my shadow, and I. The same as that is the same principle for yourself. And when we take ownership of that, I mean, I have a meeting, I have a board of the meeting in the morning. Me, myself, my shadow, and I, we meet every morning. We discuss what we're going to do, and we take action.
Yes.
Right?
Because the end of the day?
Yep. Yeah, you reward yourself, or you actually say, okay, I've done enough today. I'll go and have some downtime. I'll go and do some TV, or, I might watch a movie, or I might go and do something different. Now, we don't all do that every day, but the days that you do, you're progressing. You're progressing because you have to let your brain up here go, phew, I can have a day off, or I can be quiet for 2 hours.
Yes.
It's massive. I love it.
Actually, our millionaire mentor said that in the intensive day 1. He said, you guys are going to be working really hard. Of course you are. Right? Make sure you have a date night if you're married. Make sure you have one family day where you don't do business. You just are with your family unplugged.
Correct.
You have to, because you're working hard, and it's easy to do something that you love working hard. But the reason why we're working hard is for our family, for our wives. If it's something, so your perfect day, I'm going to share something really cool with you. Okay.
God bless you. Go for it, darling.
Okay. All right. You need to write down your perfect day. What's your perfect day? And you need to go from beginning to the end of the day. There is going to be work in there, but your perfect day might be, I'm going to meet with my sister for lunch and we're going to order something, or I'm going to be waking up at the time that I want to wake up. Right? Whatever it is that's your perfect day, write it down and go towards that. Every time that you can, make part of your perfect day happen until it all happens.
Wow, I love it. I'll share a little secret with you. I'll have to go back through my books and reread it. I saw, I don't know who it was now, but it was 2 gentlemen that were up on stage, and they took us through the whole exercise of writing out what your perfect day was. Now, I've done the exercise probably nearly 8 years ago, but it needs to be refreshed. So thank you. That is a brilliant piece of information to share. Yes. I love it. Absolutely love it. I'm on a search after we're finished here.
You're so welcome. I actually learned that this week, and it's all about learning and sharing it, everything. It's all about that. Like, your perfect day won't come unless you write it down and unless you start living it until it's all happening, and it will happen that way.
And you know something, that's a very interesting point, for the simple reason so many feel that they get stuck in the JOB. And the JOB stands for just on broke.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So when
Right.
you start looking outside, and I'll just take this, oh, right, look, there's another pathway. And that's my message pathway. You've got to break away from what has been the habit of what you've always done.
Right.
Because you keep getting what you've always gotten.
That's right.
Yeah, so I love it, love it. Darling, we'll bring this in for a bit of a close because you've got things to do and you know, a family to contend with, and I've got jobs to do here. I'm going searching for what was my perfect day. So what led you to create your business page, your that journey for freedom? What brought that all to fruition, and you know, the success that it's given you, if that's the right way to put it? And just to share part of that journey, and you may give yourself a plug here.
Oh, thank you. Well, thank you for having me on, first of all, and letting
You're
me
welcome.
share with your audience about things that I've learned, and that's why I have that personal development group, because it's the journey for freedom. Okay. And that journey should never be over, no matter what.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
You know, we spoke about the perfect day a little bit, but I'm going to tell you, your perfect day is going to change. It's going to be different as the years go on and as you grow. And so I'm all about documenting this process. I think it's very, very important that a new person would be able to come in, like I came in, and get the beginning all the way to the current. And know that they're in an environment and a community of people who are real, who are not afraid to share if they need help with something. They're not afraid to ask for a little bit of advice, or even me. I'm in there with a community of people who know different things than me.
Correct.
And I love that. I love that I can get some advice from someone who's an expert in a different field. That's what I love. This journey is a together journey, and it needs a community of people who are open, true, honest, and all working towards something together.
Correct. I couldn't agree more with you. And you bring that all together in a beautiful way, Sarah. I think it's, you know, when we're on this journey, I think it's something that we don't realize how much we're actually keep honing in the whole time until we get to that one pathway. You know, I mean, I've written 3 books, and I've got 6 more on the go. Behind, you know, they're all parked until I get what's happening now right. But I'm looking at that once this is in place, the journey will start to unfold in a completely different way. And I'm open and I'm ready for that. You know, so I think you've done a beautiful job to be able to, and inspire your 7 children. Inspiring your 7 children is the best information that they could ever learn. Absolutely. It's the best all round.
Thank you so much, Janice. And you know what? I've never written a book before. It's been a dream of mine since I was a little girl. I used to have notebooks full of things I would write, and I've never written anything. And I'm going to come to you, my friend, and I'm going to say, share with me, how do you do this? Because you're an expert author, and I'm really excited to know you and get some, you know, really good advice on what to start and how to do that. So you're the lady to go to.
Darling, I might even have something that's happening in the background, and I'll bring it to a small fruition at the moment, but I'm bringing a book together of a compilation of authors. So you just may now become one of those authors, to write 2,000 words of, you know, around your journey of success. So I think you're ready to start based on what you've said, and we'll bring it all together. I'll talk to you when we're offline. But, you know, you can stay tuned because there's more to come on that. 25 more interviews. I've just worked out why I'm doing interviews.
That's
awesome. You did a little reveal right there.
Oh, isn't that great? I hadn't worked out why was the purpose of this, but it's because I've got to interview 25 more people. I love it. Yeah, I love it. Look, Sarah, sorry?
I love that too. That is needed. That's needed. I'm excited to see it and be part of it.
Thank you. Sarah, I'll bring this all into a close, and I'll say to our listeners that if you want to get in contact with Sarah, please do so through Sarah's The Journey for Freedom, or PM Sarah personally on Facebook, and you can also do the same for Jan Muir or Jan Muir Author on Facebook, and we'll get back to you and share what we have that we can offer you to be able to get on this pathway and understand personal development. Sarah Espinosa, I appreciate your time. It's been a wonderful chat with you, and I look forward to catching up with you again soon.
Thank you so much, Janice. You're a wonderful lady.
God bless you, sunshine.